Are you ready for something big? Something really big? Something absolutely monstrous in size? No, not that big, because I have a new game for you that you never expected, that you never saw coming. This is essentially an amalgamation of Genshin Impact, Wuthering Waves, and Snowbreak, all in one compact package. And I am very excited. The game in question is called Xunjing, also known in English as The Realm. This game has become the most pre-registered for gacha game on all of TapTap, garnering 25,000 pre-registrations over the course of just several hours. And we're gonna go into exactly what this game is in just a moment. Because before that, I'd like to remind you to take a moment here, click that subscribe button, hit the little bell notification. That way you're made up to date with everything that I post, and I post daily news, pre-registrations like we're talking about today, test phases, juicy drama. I cover it all. So what is Xunjing? It's definitely not Spoon Jam. I actually I went and attempted to translate this because I'm half Chinese, and the Chinese in me would pronounce this Xunjing, but I was curious how non-Chinese would pronounce it, and this is what came up.
Xunjing.
Xunjan. Good old Xunjan. Xunjan is predominantly used in the United States of America. Yeah, there are like 13 Xunjans on every corner. Good old Xunjan. There is a trailer uploaded for the game. There is some information that we can read concerning the game, and there are several images for the game. I just looking at her, I immediately get very strong Nier Automata 2B vibes from her, and I like it. Looking at the gameplay, it looks over on the right as though you have 3 characters, couple different abilities, very nice third-person shooter from what I can tell. It looks as though there are maybe multiple characters that you can field at the same time. I see 3 characters here. Maybe you can field all 3 of them together, and you kind of just like cycle through which one you want to play as. Additionally, if you want to pre-register for the game, I'll have a link to it down in the description of the pinned comment, or you can just navigate on over to my website, mygachahub.com, where I keep you guys up to date with stuff like this every single day. I have pre-registration links for every upcoming gacha game that people don't typically know about, Eastern games specifically. This way I can keep games like these on your radar. Let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer first, and then we'll read up on what the game actually is.
神已经死了，但我们并不绝望。他的信徒依旧虔诚，他的天堂等待。
Damn, I'm out of water.
剩下的话就留到墓碑上吧。
你总算来了。
I think Mrs. Stix has some water. She does. Whoa, okay. So this is a cinematic.
很想我，这个大侠是特。
I bet you guys saw that and were like, oh yeah, you could totally sit on me. Sit on my fate.
那个大侠
Never
是特
mind.
地为你准备的。
Right, I'm hoping we get some, Wow. Dude, holy crap, this actually, let's just go back and take a look at some of that scenery. Okay. It kind of has a more dark theme like Wuthering Waves had. It kind of, this reminds me of like Nier crossed with Devil May Cry crossed with Wuthering Waves. Oh my god, it looks so good though, the world. Very cool. Triple jumping. Animations look pretty fluid for movement. This is much faster than Snowbreak. This is much more reactive than Snowbreak. I noticed that the characters don't really have shadows on them though. Like, I know this is in the early stages of development. This could still be like a year or 2 off.
有我在， 神就不会输。
So they have a lot of time to perfect everything. But that looked very cool. The gameplay, I think, actually looks better than this pre-rendered cinematic. Oh, dude, it's 9S. That's 2B82 9S. Okay. It's budget Sephiroth, actually, judging by the fact that he has those wings. Before we get into any of the information, though, I want to take a moment to thank my incredible patrons over on Patreon who allow for me to continue to do dedicated videos like this every single day. You guys are phenomenal, and I cannot thank you all enough for the support. Now let's see what this game has to offer us. The Realm is a fantasy-themed, open-world adventure shooting game with a high degree of freedom. If a world is not worth saving, then destroy it. If the world is a house that is not protected from wind and rain, then it is better to tear it down and rebuild it than to live in ruins. Even those who think they own the house will attack you. Well, that's rude. Even if those cowards huddled among them try to stop you. Even if those sleepyheads, god damn you sleepyheads, who don't know the truth will curse you. Yeah, they're like, I'm just doing fucking... But you understand, but you know, the so-called gods are just rotten masks. The so-called prayers are just desperate gestures. The so-called beliefs are just useless persistence. The human soul is the power to reshape the world. The gun in your hand is the weapon to kill the gods. One day a bullet will pierce God's forehead, and the echo of that gunshot will wake up the first morning of the new world. This is a fucked up story so far. Holy crap. I love it. Oh my god. Okay, cool, yeah. Okay. I very much like the sound of that. Words from the developer. What kind of game is The Realm? First of all, it should have the purest happiness, the most intuitive, refreshing, and the most interesting gameplay. I agree. Intuitive, refreshing, and interesting gameplay is a must. This is a third-person, open-world shooter. This has got to be significantly better than Snowbreak. This has got to be more engaging. This has got to have a deep plot, a deep narrative. There's got to be more to this game than just going out and shooting some enemies. Most importantly, the game needs to be a fun game. And at its core, I think that is, yes, that is true. Sorry, my alarm is going off. That is 100% true. At its core, it needs to be a fun game, but at the same time, it needs to not have a predatory business model and needs to be free-to-play friendly. Because you can have a fun game that is riddled with microtransactions, that locks and gates everything behind purchases, and while it's fun for the people that can afford it, it's not fun for your average person. This is the answer I gave myself. For developers, such a simple goal might be a bit naive. That doesn't sound simple to me. Creating a fun game that is interesting, refreshing, and intuitive is not easy. Otherwise, there would be tons of gacha games that were all of the above, or even just one of them. Trying to make just a fun game is difficult, apparently, as is evidenced by a lot of the gacha games that come out. Maybe every player has a different definition of fun, but we believe that there are always some beautiful things that everyone hopes for. Yeah, waifus. Even if there's only one moment that makes you smile, yeah, moments like this is worth our effort. Compared with other games, for me, the fun of The Realm may lie in the free adventure in the magnificent world. Good, because we need worlds that are fun to explore, that are filled with content to consume, things to find, things to reward you with. It may be sensitive and smooth operating feel and combat experience. That's good. I like smooth combat. It may be the gorgeous and unrestrained combat performance, and of course, an exciting plot. At least it should be non-toxic and selfless. So exciting plot, good. Unrestrained combat performance, so they're trying to be the Wuthering Waves of the third-person shooter genre. By the way, it is also indispensable to be able to have an intense battle with friends, make fun of each other or complain about each other. So what is that, like a duel system? That'd be kind of cool, yeah. Our expectation that The Realm will definitely be fun doesn't seem to be very difficult to achieve. Oh yes, what you're saying sounds very difficult to achieve. After all, we have worked so many overtime hours, constantly optimized and adjusted, and finally made so much fun content. We'll definitely have to show off on behalf of all the friends in the development team. Don't worry. I'm very worried. I am. Because this actually looks very cool from that gameplay trailer. But we have very limited footage so far. In everyone's eyes, The Realm at this stage is just one of the games that has no name and is waiting to be launched. Very true. I'm glad they realized that. Every time I do a video on a new game, the instant reaction from not an overwhelming majority, but a quite a sizable number of people is, but when is it launching? Why can't I play it? All these games get announced and I can't play any of them. Why is there nothing to play? Why can't you just tell me when a game releases? So yeah, one of those games that have no name and is waiting to be launched. However, for us, the realm is like a biological child. Weird reference. We put so much effort and emotion into it, and it is inevitable that we have a little filter of hope that the son will become a dragon and the daughter will become a phoenix. Sure. I mean, why not? That's exactly what we need you. Player suggestions, feedback, and criticism will give us more to think about and help us do better. Just like comfortable clothing needs to be tailor-made, how can an excellent game be separated from the players? Fortunately, there's a long way to go. The game is currently in early development stages. The development team is working hard to become, I don't know what Palu is, works hard and looks forward to meeting you all soon. So it is, they do know that they want feedback and they want players' suggestions and their criticism too. Test phases, which I know they're interested in holding a test phase. They literally made a post about being the #1 pre-registered for game right now. So they're looking to move into active testing. Again, I have a link to that on my website, mygachahub.com. If you want to participate in the test phase, you want to leave your suggestions, you want to leave your feedback, you want to leave your criticisms of the game to help mold it, to help shape it into something that could actually genuinely truly be good. For the developers, if you guys actually see this video, and I would love for you to, I would be more than happy to play the Chinese test phase, to give you my honest feedback, constructive criticism, my thoughts, my suggestions. And for those of you that actually get into the test phase, please take the time to actually give your feedback, because too many people get into these test phases, play the game, say the game sucks because it's incomplete, and then just leave. And then you're left with just a fraction of the actual participants helping the development of the game. With this in mind, I think all this game needs, because it looks beautiful from what I can tell from the in-game footage that we saw, all we need for this game to be good is improved animation and fluidity in combat, great looking abilities, a diverse roster of characters, a world that feels full with things to do that don't just involve killing enemies, a narrative that you can become engaged in. It doesn't need to be overwhelming. It doesn't need to be the greatest story ever told. Just something that makes you actually interested in it and not skip it all. And have the game reward you for actually playing it. Be free to play friendly. Don't have predatory monetization. And you'll have a lot of players support you. There are numerous games out there that do all of this. Like Nikke, like Blue Archive, free to play friendly, not heavily predatory. Good stories, good combat, good characters, minus the world, because neither of them have an explorable world. You just have an extra step you need to take. I think this game could be really good. I'm excited to see where it goes, what happens with it. I'm curious what you guys think. Now, if none of this is of any interest to you, absolutely no problem. I got you covered with 2 different videos on screen right now. That might be more up your alley.